Before positioning himself as one of hip-hop's darkest and most enigmatic artists, the rapper Destroy Lonely was born Bobby Sandimanie on July 30th, 2001 in good old Atlanta, Georgia. And with a stage name like that, you won't be too surprised to learn that as a youngster, Bobby, he spent a lot of his childhood and early adolescence by himself. Now, he had two younger sisters growing up as well as an older brother, but they were half siblings, which meant more often than not, Bobby, he felt like an only child. And then there was school. Bobby hated it, especially at first. Now, by grade 6, he had somehow convinced his grandmother, a former teacher, to instruct him at home. Now, the problem was that Bobby, he didn't realize at the time that meant that he wouldn't be spending time with anyone other than his grandma. Now, this isolated experience would eventually lead to the emergence of his stage name, as he explained to Rolling Stone, where he told them, "I spent a lot of time by myself, so I just called myself Lonely." Now, as for the first part of his stage name, Destroy, that emerged during his return to school in the 9th and 10th grade. Now, during this period, Bobby, he engaged in reckless behavior, including substance abuse involving Xans. Now, recognizing the harm he was doing to himself, he decided to associate the word destroy with his self-destructive habits. Thankfully, he later decided to distance himself from those same vices. Now, that's how the name Destroy Lonely came to be a representation of Bobby's personal journey. It not only encapsulates his experience of self-isolation, but self-reflection as well, which ultimately led him to transformative path towards artistic expression. Now, growing up, Destroy Lonely, he had a deep passion for freestyling and a genuine dedication to the art of rap. Now, this commitment to honing his skills, it was instilled in him from a young age and influenced by his father, who also just so happened to be a rapper. In fact, in the late 1990s, his father, he made a mark in the industry by signing with Ludacris's Disturbing the Peace record label under the name Infamous 2-0. Now, Ludacris was around his family so much that Lonely started calling him uncle, and throughout his childhood, he was lucky enough to get to join his dad on tour. Inspired by everything he was experiencing, Lonely began teaching himself audio production during his free time, but the end result was some of the worst beats he had ever heard. So he switched gears and tried rapping over top of one of his friend's beats instead. Now, that's how he wound up making his first song at the age of 14, and before long, he was uploading his music to SoundCloud. Soon enough, Lonely, he was skipping almost every class so that he could hit up the recording studio, which was located on campus, which is the very spot he made all of his first official songs. Now, around that same time, he also met two very important people in his life, Texaco and Neezus. Now, these were two fellow rappers who would become his very best friends and his closest associates. Now, every day, Lonely, he would head across the street from his house to where Neezus lived and record some music with him. Now, it was through his friendship that Lonely met Big Smoke Chapo, who was forming his own label, Addicted to Money. Now, after a few more collaborations and some healthy prodding, Lonely finally agreed to join the team himself and kickstarted his rap career proper. Now, for the most part, Destroy Lonely's music, it consists of otherworldly and ominous instrumentals that, alongside his ambient voice, double down on his mysterious persona. Now, this alternative influence, it comes not just from listening to bands like Crystal Castles, Deftones, and The Cure when he was younger, but also experience with a number of different musical instruments, including the piano, violin, and the trumpet. Lonely released his earliest music back in 2015, followed by mixtapes with titles like Destroy, Dark Horse, and Underworld, but it wouldn't be until he dropped Broken Hearts in late October of 2020 that he finally achieved his breakthrough moment. Now, that project, it contained one single in particular that would help catapult him to the top. I'm talking his moody hit Bane. 2 months later, with his name generating more buzz than ever before, Lonely would drop a new single titled Oh Yeah, which is notable because it was the music video to that track that found its way to Playboy Cardi, who then reached out to the young artist and offered to help shape the next stage of his career. Lonely told Rolling Stone, "The first time I ever spoke to him, he said he wanted me to sign him. Then I saw him a couple of days after, and we were in the studio and made at least 20 songs. So after that, it was up." In 2021, Destroy Lonely, he inked on the dotted line as the newest member of Carti Opium roster under Interscope Records, and he became one of the first to join alongside his label mate and now good friend Ken Carson. Outside of working on a series of different songs together, these two have practically become brothers along the way. And Lonely, he once described the relationship to Rolling Stone in the following glowing terms: "He helped me with a lot of stuff outside of music and even just transitioning to where I'm at now. That's my big brother. I love him a lot. One of the greatest people on earth." And after getting signed to Opium, Destroy Lonely, he immediately set to work on his highly anticipated big label debut mixtape titled No Stylist. Released in August of 2022, this project was named after a single of the same name and would boost Lonely's popularity even further. Now, we'd follow it up with a deluxe version 3 months later that was named, appropriately enough, after his cat. Lux. Following that, Lil Lonely, he took his show on the road, embarking on a 21-city tour throughout the winter with his Opium label mates. We're talking Homicide Gang and DJ Black Boy. Despite the fact that he was touring all over North America, Lil Lonely still found the time to record his debut studio album titled If Looks Could Kill, which dropped in May of 2023. With gothic guitars, slick flows, and expressive vocals, Will Destroy Lonely fully embraced his fashion demon persona on this project, name-dropping Chrome Hearts, Balenciaga, and Chanel, just to name a few. But music isn't the only goal in life. He also is preparing to venture into fashion, designing his own speakers, and even create some films. In other words, this is still just the early stages of Destroy Lonely's master plan. He continued telling Rolling Stone, "I don't look at myself as just an artist or a rapper. I know there are people who want to go after what they want to do, but external things stop them. I want to be the voice to people. That's the only thing I want. Platinum plaques are cool, but I just want to inspire." Destroy Lonely might be looking to inspire others, but when it comes to the most surprising revelation I was able to discover about his story, it's probably this. Remember how I mentioned that his dad is rapper Infamous 2-0? Well, guess what? Now that his son is such a big name in the rap world, well, Pops reached out wanting to collaborate with him on a track. Wow. But Lonely, like his name implies, well, he wasn't all that eager to do the same. Now, when asked by Complex what it would be like to work with his dad on a song, well, he told them, "I don't want to throw my dad under the bus, but one time he called me and wanted to make a song with me, not to put out or nothing, but he just wanted to make a song. But I don't know. That's my dad. I don't really want to make no song with my dad." I wonder how Pops and Uncle Ludacris might feel about that. After all, without them, well, who knows what Destroy Lonely would be doing right now. But hey, it's the kid's prerogative. He can do whatever the hell he wants. Let's just hope his dad doesn't take it too personally. Put out a diss track. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap out this video here. I do have a question for you guys before I leave you. If you were a rapper with a parent in the industry, would you collaborate with them, or would you stay away in an effort to leave your own mark? We're gonna wrap up this video here. Sometimes we attach a previous upload to the end. BLP Kosher might fit in here. He's the new up-and-coming kid. Enjoy it if we drop it. If not, I'll see you guys in another video. Boom! All right, to be honest, I haven't seen this much hype around a new act since maybe Ice Spice. This kid's going crazy viral. Everyone loves him. Let's get into this story. Before BLP Kosher would become the most promising Jewish rap star on the planet thanks to his attention-grabbing sense of style and off-the-wall lyrics that contain plenty of references to his faith. Well, he was born Deerfield Beach in the South Florida region of good old Broward County. Now, having just recently broken into the hip-hop scene during the past couple of years, well, Kosher has kept a few details to himself, like his birthday and his government name. Though I did do a little digging, and I'm pretty sure his real name, it's actually Benny Landy Pavlin. Now, when Kosher was a young kid, he grew up watching things unfold on the Florida streets that he knew could spell danger for himself if he wasn't careful. In fact, he told Complex, "I know that anything can be taken away from you in a second, even little stuff like getting into an altercation on the bus or on the side of the road. In certain areas, there are people that don't have anything to lose." Now, that's how one of the first lessons Kosher ever learned became pride in something that can get you killed. So checking his ego at the door, well, he looked to get involved in something that would keep him out of trouble, and at the age of 7, well, he fell in love with skateboarding. Now, once he was a little bit older, well, Kosher began recording tricks in skate parks with his friends and donning skate shop fashion wear. But the most important thing skating instilled in Kosher was a willingness to never give up no matter how many times he might fail, while trying to learn like a new trick. Now, this became a lesson he'd carry forward with him everywhere he went.
I had like a little skate shop sponsor through Flow and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. It was just like a hustle, like, you know what I mean? Just like going in the streets with the camera, like ask my friend to film it, go home, like pay my dog to edit and shit. Mm-hmm. It was just kind of like very similar to rap. Like you could use that like work ethic in the stew in a way too and shit.
Yeah. Now, when he wasn't at the skate park, well, Kosher spent time praying and searching for little signs from God. Now, growing up in a family of Jewish faith, well, Kosher was never exactly orthodox and didn't observe Shabbat. But the culture of his people, it still resonated with him. Take his hair, for example. Also, underneath that thing, maybe there's a yarmulke. I don't know. Now, Kosher's now signature hairstyle had arrived about 3 years ago. Now, at the time, he was skating with a close personal friend named Charmaine, a man whose girlfriend had just recently passed away. Now, Kosher, he wanted to help his friend out, so he said a special Jewish prayer to elevate her soul to heaven. Moved by his friend's gesture, Will Charmaine, he returned the favor by using a crochet hook to turn the 2 traditional payout curls Kosher already had on the sides of his head into 2 small wicks, a popular hairstyle which is in South Florida. Now, it wasn't Kosher's usual look, but he embraced it anyway, and well, it would pay off for him later by becoming his signature look.
Boy Charmaine, his name was Jeffrey. He had the Star David tatted on him too, just like you. It was like a gift. Like he was like, "You only want 2?" I was like, "Yeah, just these little ones." And he's like, "That's hard."
Now, during this period of time, while Kosher was still spending most of his days at the skate park and getting into trouble. Now, he liked rapping, but only as a hobby, and he listened to artists like Kodak Black, XXX, Glock 9, Bankroll Fresh, Lil Wayne, as well as Eminem. Then in 2021, while Kosher started dabbling in music himself alongside his boy LaGarry, producing his first track ever, a song titled Sweet Potato. But it would be another year at least before he began to gain any meaningful traction. Now, throughout 2022, while Kosher was living with his mom and his grandma out of a senior living retirement center that he had to sneak in and out of while holding over 14 jobs at places like the Cheesecake Factory and UPS, only to get fired from nearly all of them. Then he started working for Uber Eats 3 months later, while his life would change forever when he met a man by the name of Jew Shiesty. BLP Kosher's rap career, it really took on a life of its own when he met fellow rapper Jew Shiesty, a man who immediately embraced him as one of his own and invited him to the studio to collaborate. On nothing more than a whim, well, these two created a rap song titled Beatbox and then posted it to SoundCloud in just the one day. Now, at the time, Kosher, he was just coming along for the ride, but Shiesty saw something special for Kosher during the process and convinced him to take rap more seriously. Now, these two, they did more than just collaborate with one another, they named each other as well. Now, originally, Kosher, he was going by the handle of BLP, then he started thinking about calling himself Le Kosher, but his buddy, he told him to put those names together as BLP Kosher. And while Shiesty was originally going to use the name of Young Dreidel, well, Kosher landed on Jew Shiesty, convincing him, his friend, it was the perfect moniker for their brand.
I gave Jew Shiesty his name, Mike Cookburst, you know, I met him at the skate shop. He basically was like a Jewish rapper. He could have been competitive with me and be like, nah, I'm the Jew like that raps and shit. He could have been real competitive.
Now, before long, well, these two, they started going viral together. Sure, Kosher's hair, it helped, but no one could dispute that the kid, he could also rap. Now, peppering his songs with double entendres, deep cut pop culture references, and some funny lyrics, well, the kid, he was set to go places. But then tragedy struck when Kosher's good friend and the man who gave him his trademark wicks in the first place, well, Charmaine, he was actually shot and killed by the police. Once he had learned about what had happened, well, Kosher promised himself that he would never lose the curls Charmaine gave him. Then Jew Shiesty, well, he passed away as well, and Kosher recognized that he had a responsibility to fully commit himself to music in order to turn up for the friends who had helped him find his way. Now, throwing himself into music, well, BLP Kosher, he started recording one new song after another, releasing mixtapes on SoundCloud with titles like Earth to Benjamin, Angelfish, and 225 Bars. Now, some of those tracks, they found attention, but it wouldn't be until his 2022 song, Inferno, that Kosher really began to find his voice. Now, from there, he produced songs like The Knack before appearing on comedian Drewski's Instagram Live, only to receive a less than favorable review from the jokester during a freestyle. Now, Drewski might have focused on the inherent comedy in BLP Kosher's music and looks, but that appearance still wound up earning the kid more attention than he'd ever earned before, and a ton of new fans as well. Now, all those same folks, they then eagerly showed up for the release of Kosher's very first full-length mixtape, titled BLP Kosher and the Magic Dreidel, featuring his viral hit, Jew at the Canoe. But as much as the year 2022 would prove to be a year of transition for Kosher, 2023 would be his breakout year. So far, 2023 has been a whirlwind of activity for BLP Kosher, highlighted by his breakthrough single, a high-profile collaboration with Baby Tron, aptly titled Mazeltron. Now, in a sense, it was actually Kosher's fans who manifested this song into reality by continually commenting on Kosher's profile and requesting that he work with Tron. Now, eventually, Tron, he hit Kosher up because he had seen Kosher's name under his own comments as well, and the two got into the DMs. Now, the track, it dropped in early April alongside Lyrical Lemonade music video directed by Cole Bennett. Now, with his face all over TikTok as well, well, Kosher, he had done all that he can to keep the pedal to the metal, lining up live dates while also recording his newest mixtape, Bars Mitzvah.
Bars Mitzvah. Bars Mitzvah. I'm trying to give the fans what they want. I want everything to be like what they want.
But before that project drops, we'll keep your eyes peeled for further single releases, not to mention an appearance on Lyrical Lemonade's upcoming summer smash. Now, Kosher, he might still be somewhat new to this music game, but that isn't going to stop him from working as hard as he can to honor his fallen friends by producing a hit single that goes to the top of the charts worldwide. Now, whether that happens or not, well, that's almost secondary as far as BLP Kosher is concerned. The most important thing he can do right now is make the world a more pleasant place for us all to be in, he told Complex. I don't really got nothing to prove because I know my meaning for it and why I'm doing it. It's really all to make the world a better place in the future. I really want to bring the people that aren't together. Now, that's not the usual type of ambition you hear from most rappers, but maybe that's what will set BLP Kosher apart from everyone else in the game. Now, how far will his career take him? Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. After all, this has been before they're famous.